What is up, watch family, friends? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. I'm Tony. Uh, it's 115 degrees outside right now, and it's about 90 degrees in here because my AC isn't pushing it out. You know, we don't usually get this hot in California. It hasn't been this hot in 4 years. It's a record. So right now it's 115. So anyway, today is the Q&A. For those of you who don't know, or if you're a new subscriber, the Q&A, we do it every week, every Friday. All you have to do if you want to participate is leave your question in the comment section below. And your question will be featured on an upcoming Q&A. I like doing it. You guys seem to like it. We've been doing it for quite some time, and it's been a regular thing for for a long time now. So I appreciate everyone. So what do I wear on a hot day when it's 115 degrees? I wear my Zenith on a rubber strap. Well, this is a strap by WIS, W-I-S, Watch Industry Solutions. Sorry, man. If WIS, WIS, if you guys are watching, I'm sorry. Watch Industries Solutions. Anyway, I always find that when it's hot outside, it's just, wearing a watch with a rubber strap is the best option, and I wear it slightly loose so you don't get that watch puddle underneath your wrists. So let's roll the intro and we'll get into the Q&A. All right. First question comes from, what's your screen name? Metagirl, sorry. I know her different than you guys would. But this is a little bit of a complex question that you sent me this morning, and I didn't get it till a little bit later. So happy Friday. I have a question for the Q&A. It looks like Patek has quite a few manual winding movements, about half of which use a Breguet balance spring. The others use Gyromax or Spiromax. Do you know why they'd use Gyromax or Spiromax? There's like three parts to this whole thing, I guess. And do I think Nomos balance spring in the Tangente is as good? Not that this matters. I'm just curious. So you're asking me, do I know why they use Gyromax or Spiromax, and is the Tangente balance is good? Well, they invented the Gyromax, Patek did, and Spiromax, I believe, as well. It's sort of the same kind of thing. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm not getting into super technical shit because I want you guys to keep viewing and paying attention and not falling asleep. But when you have a watch, just use this Timex, So you have a watch, right? And inside are a bunch of little components and such. When you wind that watch, now you're producing energy. That energy has to go somewhere. So when you wind it, it goes to the balance, okay, and the hairspring. It's very fine. The watch will run. You can also shake the watch and it'll start motion, okay? So once you have that watch wound, it's basically energy, and it has to go somewhere. And it has to go somewhere, it can't just be like, like if you blow up a balloon and you don't tie it and you just let the air out, it just fluffs out, right? So just if you grabbed a spring and you wound it and just let it go, it would just unwind, okay? So that was a little bit dramatic. But so what happens is you have all this energy and it has to go somewhere, but it has to be released gradually in order for it to be, it has to be distributed. And by that, so it goes from the balance wheel, which has the hairspring, to a pallet fork, to an escapement. So it has to escape, right? It has to go somewhere. So most watch brands don't make their own balance wheels and their own balance and hairsprings, right? Because it's actually the hardest thing. That's the heartbeat of the watch. And if it's not right, then nothing's going to work on that watch properly. And that's where you get a lot of these cheap watches that just, they might have automatic movements or they don't keep good time or whatever. So a lot of these companies like like will order their mainsprings from like Beauvais, for instance. Okay. And it's a very, to have those made is a very difficult procedure to do it. And then you have to balance it. Once a watchmaker gets a hold of it, it has to be adjusted and that wheel has to spin properly. Now, also what that does is how it is the energy, depending on the escapement or the balance, I'm sorry, can determine also, you know, the power reserve. So for instance, you might have a watch with a 42 power reserve, and then you have the gyro max, right? And then the spiral max, and then you've got Breguet, and the way that those hairsprings are, the way that it saves energy. So therefore you can get a 55 to 60, 70 hour power reserve out of that watch. They invented the gyro max a long time ago, but the Breguet, I'm not sure when they were using those. I know that, you know, like I say, a lot of these companies get their balance from other companies. So they did that with Breguet. But if you look at the, I'm hoping that I'm answering this question to your satisfaction. So that's, and I think Patek have now come out with something else, but I'm not sure yet. But you look at some of these hairsprings, like for instance, Rolex has the Cerachrome. Anyway, it's the blue hairspring, and it's oh my gosh, I can't think of it. I apologize, man. It's 115 degrees outside and like 100 degrees in here, so I'm sorry. But then you take someone like Nomos, and they make their own as well. However, Nomos aren't as accurate as, say, for instance, as the Patek Philippe. You know, some of these watches are, I wouldn't say, you know, like COSC certified, right? Which they have to run between +6, -4 seconds a day. Nomos are within, I think, 10 seconds a day. So would I say it's better? No, Nomos do not make a better overall movement, but they make a really good movement. And I would say if you're talking about their balance, you know, it's hard to tell. The thing is Patek also use gold. They have the way that they do their balance wheels. So that being said, is it one better than the other? Probably a little bit. Patek are going to, you know, but Nomos is really, 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 really good. So there's a lot of people that don't understand how that works. So I hope that helped a little bit. But anyway, and then let's see, is there anything else? Between the basic Patek manual wind movements and the Nomos Tangente, which movement is better and why? Patek have the history and the heritage in their watchmaking. There's a lot of that is what makes something better. You know what I mean? It's like if you take a Tesla that's got a bunch of batteries in it, and then now this is a really bad analogy, so I'm not even going to go there. But if you take, say, let's say a 1967 Ford, how that was all built by hand to a certain extent, and then you get these cars that are like, say, an Audi, for instance, that are built on an assembly line, and you know, and they're all built on assembly lines, I guess. But I'm going to just talk myself into a hole right now. I'm just going to say Patek's a better overall watch, but movement than Nomos. But Nomos have really good movements. All right, so I hope that helps. Anyway, thank you for your question there. I appreciate it as always. This comes from Aero83PL, and this question came from, I did a video and it had the Cartier Santos dual time that just came out with the Solita movement, and I kind of ragged on that watch a bit. Basically, you know, you're looking at $9,000 with the Solita movement for a Cartier watch, and I was just like, you got to be out of your mind, right? So this guy, Aero83PL, I'm imagining you bought that watch, and this is your question. Does it mean that the value of the watch in the secondary market will be lower compared to the other Cartier models? Like the newly bought watch will lose more of the price, or the buyers will just value the Cartier brand the same as for any other Cartier watch? Sorry if this is a dumb question. I am new to this watch thing. It's not a dumb question. It's a very good question. I'm glad you're getting into the watch thing, and I'm glad you bought a Cartier. So this more about with the Solita movement and the watch itself, that's kind of watch nerd stuff. If you really like the watch, that's all that matters, dude. Who cares what kind of movement's in it? As far as the value of Cartier on the secondary market, they do not hold their value. You know, they just don't. There are some models that do, but for the most part, Cartiers aren't worth too much on the secondary market. Another reason to buy a watch is because you love them, not because you think they're going to hold value. For all you know, that watch could be discontinued, and then all of a sudden something cultish comes out and they become like a collector's thing, and then it skyrockets in price. That could happen. Most likely won't, but it could. So if you enjoy the watch, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anyone else says, thinks, or tells you about that watch. If it keeps good time and it's working, it's got an 8-year warranty on it, then hang on to it and enjoy it. All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate your question. This comes Raphael Oliva. Raphael, I'm sorry, man. Again, 115 degrees. Tony, thanks for the content. I'm glad you're rocking the Batgirl. Thanks, man. I'm on the list at my AD for one. Awesome. Best of luck to you, man. I've got a ceramic sub, but what is your take on the Cartier caliber diver and the non-diver variants from the 305? What up, Florida? Well, first and foremost, I hope you get your Batgirl quick. And as far as the Cartier, what's your take? What is your take on the Cartier caliber, diver and non-diver? I think Cartier make a great movement. I don't know their diver, what they put in their divers. I know nothing about the Cartier diver watch or watches. The 1847 MC is like a workhorse that they use in their Tank, their Santos, the Ronde, a couple others. It's a great movement, workhorse movement. Some of their high horology movements are just as good. They make phenomenal watches unless they're using Solida movements. I'm just kidding, to the guy who just asked the previous question. So yeah, I mean, I love Cartier, man. Love their movements too. This one comes from, oh, thanks for your question, by the way. This one comes from Adiriakia 9724. Well, SRV had such a big string gauge and such high action that only he could play it. That's, he was talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan. We were talking about the last video with the guitars and stuff. When was your last gig, and did you have a watch journey for watches on stage? Short answer, I never wore watches on stage. Never. Because I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed, so I wear my watch in my right hand. So that's where my watch goes. And it's not because I care about scratching the guitar or anything like that. I don't. But it's just, it's restricting to me. So I never wore a watch. Occasionally, I would wear a watch if I was doing the singer, my singing, songwriting, acoustic stuff, because that way it just doesn't, this really doesn't bother me that way. But I never wore a watch on stage. My last gig was a couple years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I did it as a favor, and I'm pretty much retired from playing live. I haven't played live in a long time, and I haven't toured. The last time I think I even toured, I don't remember, was maybe 2006. I think 2006 was the last time I toured. But then I've also, there was a promoter that I used to work with that would, book me at like the House of Blues or the Viper Room. If you don't know the House of Blues, it's a big club. House of Blues in Hollywood's no longer there, but I got to play there at least. Viper Room was another big club on the Strip, Hollywood Strip. Whiskey A Go-Go. It's like those clubs. When I was doing my solo stuff, when I was playing with other bands, we played other bigger places. But as a solo guy, I would play those clubs. But it's been a while. Thanks for your question too. This one comes from Michael DeMarco 899. Question, Tony, since starting to watch and listen to your channel, I've taken my watch collection in directions I didn't think I would be interested in. I'm much more of a Rolex sport guy, but lately I've been interested in higher horology pieces since my trip to Paris. Awesome, Paris. Don't be wearing your watches in Paris, bro. Breguet has been on my mind, and I cannot seem to get it out. Specifically the Breguet Tradition 7057 and Breguet Big Date Marine, both in rose gold. Can you give me your thoughts on these watches? The 7057 is a beautiful, absolutely stunning watch. About $32,000 retail. They have a couple of different variations of that watch. It's got a manual wind movement, high horology. This is up there, I think, as equal as Patek Philippe or any other high horology brand. It's a beautiful, gorgeous watch. I don't know if I would buy that variation, or I mean that reference number of Breguet, but it is a nice watch. As far as the Marine Big Day, I don't know anything about that watch, dude. I'm so sorry, but it's a Breguet, so it's got to be amazing. But that's a one watch I don't know anything about, so I apologize. I'll find a picture and throw it up if I get the right picture, but other than that, I don't really know, so I can't give you, you know what I mean? And I've never owned either one of those Breguets, so it's really hard for me to, unless I see it in the person. And I think I have put a 7057 on my wrist before, so when I was in Nashville. So appreciate your question, man. Good luck in your journey, and thank you, man. This one comes from Aller6073. How much time are we at? Another great vid. Thanks, Tony. Thank you. Question. I've been debating buying a Cartier Santos for my next watch, but what holds me back is the lack of micro adjustment for the bracelet. Has finding the perfect fit for the Santos been an issue for you? And do you think there will be a Santos refresh in the near future with a better movement or micro adjustment? Thanks, dude, for your question. The bracelet is super easy to adjust. It's just a press of a button. You don't even need a tool, but it comes with a tool, but you don't need one. You just pop out the pins. All those links are like half links, dude. So I can't imagine you would have any trouble finding the right size for you on that watch. I mean, literally, those links are, small, little, tiny, like half links. Just, but as far as a refresh, I mean, you're talking about like just the movement. The movement's great, man. That 1847 MC. What else would you want in it? You know what I mean? If you're going for the three hand with a date, that would be the large model, or the three hand with no date, that would be the medium. Unless you want different dial variations, they've got a lot of dial variations. But as far as that goes, man, I think it's fine just the way it is, dude. But I wish you the best of luck, and hope you can, go try one on and then look at the links and talk to your sales rep, and if you're seriously interested in buying it, and you let them know that, you can ask them to take some of those links out and show you how to do it and whatever, and show you how easy it is, and they'll probably get a really good fit for you. All right. David Parrish Productions. Police say the 49ers, Ricky Pearsall, was shot because robber was targeting his Rolex. Do these events worry you? What is best practice for staying safe? Thanks, brother. Dude, David, how are you, man? Happy Friday. Yeah, I heard that when it happened. And he fought back. I guess they both got shot. I guess he got shot in the chest and then turned the gun around on the other guy. I don't know too much about it. Didn't really watch it on the news. Dude, if someone comes up to you and wants your watch and they got a gun, especially in California, just give them the fucking watch. Don't fight. It's not worth losing your life over a freaking watch. I'd fight because I'm stupid. No, give me 10 years ago, I was all about chaos, man. You come at me, I was like, but I spent my life doing martial arts and boxing, all that shit, man. So I know how to take someone down, but it doesn't matter. You can never stop a gun. You can take a gun away from someone if you know how to do it. And if you're actually in the wild and someone pulls a gun on you, even if you know how to do something, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do it, because your adrenaline and your fear might kick in and you could screw things up. And you don't want your mind to start running on high speed when you're in that kind of situation, right? So just give up the watch. Well, the best thing is to be aware of your surroundings. You know what I mean? Like I am so aware of my surroundings in LA, depending on where I go. You know what I mean? I have no problem going to Hollywood at night. Super dangerous, and it can be. It's wearing a Rolex. But am I going to wear it with short sleeves walking down Hollywood Boulevard, flashing it? No. But it's also knowing, if you spot anything, you have to be really careful. You have to just be aware of your surroundings. If I went to, where do you live? Chicago? Yeah, right, dude. Hell no. I mean, out there, even being aware of my surroundings, I'm not familiar with the surroundings. I'm aware that there's certain areas, but I'm also not so familiar with it. So, I'd be more apt to not even wear a watch. I'd wear a watch, but I wouldn't wear a Rolex or something like that. So you just have to be really, really, really careful. And people know if you're a tourist. I don't know if you guys know this, several years ago, there was a couple that came out. I can't remember where they were from. They were going to the Super Bowl. They were spending the weekend out here, and they went to Venice Beach. Big no-no. Venice Beach is great. You'll see it on TV and like, oh my God, we're at Venice Beach, you know, but Venice Beach, when it starts to get dark, is extremely dangerous. It's full of gangs. It's full of violence. It's full of crime. You have to be aware of your surroundings. It's not a good place to be. They went to their car. Some dude pulled a gun on for his Cartier. The guy didn't want to give it to him. He got shot in the leg. All right, so they never made it to the Super Bowl. He got shot in the leg. He lost the watch, but he was okay. Thing is, right, I've told this before. Especially if you're with your girlfriend or your wife or something, and someone comes up and confronts you, give him the fucking watch. Don't even think twice, because guess what? Say my girlfriend's here, I'm here, and the guy pulls a gun on me, and I don't want to give you my watch, and he goes, bam, and then kills the chick. You know what I mean? Would you want that laying on your conscience? Of course not, man. Be fucking smart. Pardon my language. Can I say be? Be smart. You know what I mean? That's what you have to be. All right. There's too many people out there that might be book smart as all hell, but when it comes to street smarts or common sense, they're dumb as a box of rocks. Trust me, you know. I would imagine you know that too. So, hey, Dave, thanks for your question. As always, I appreciate it. This comes from, geez, we're getting long on this, man. Sorry. This comes from Pubesy McGoobsy. Hey, Tony, what do you think about dress watches and casual clothing? I love dress watches, and I've worked at the same tattoo shop for over 10 years, so there's no dress code professionally or personally. I just like all kinds of watches and clothing. Some people are dicks about when not to wear dress watches. I think you should just wear what you want when you want. What do you think about this? Does this have any bearing on why you're selling your Vacheron? Probably not. You're stylish as biatch. Thank you. Thoughts? Thanks, dude, for that. Love your channel, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I should know it's coming every time you're... Okay, so, yeah, wear whatever you want, whenever you want. And no, it has nothing to do with why I'd be selling my Vacheron. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell the Vacheron now at this point, because I've been wearing it now. I'm kind of bonding with it again. You know, I'm kind of falling in love with it again, you know. And plus, if I get rid of it, you know, am I ever going to be able to get another Vacheron or a Patek or whatever, you know? Just hang on to it, I think. That's what I think I should do. But, you know, you never know what could happen. But just wear what you want when you want. Who cares what anyone else thinks, man? If you're wearing a tuxedo with a fucking Submariner, then wear a tuxedo with a Submariner, man. You're wearing a Vacheron with a t-shirt and a bunch of tattoos, do it. Thanks for your question, dude. I appreciate it, man. This comes from Time Bomb. Hey, Tony, I know you love your Zenith Pilot, and I'm wondering if you have seen the blue dial one in person and what your thoughts are on it. I have a lot of black watches already, and the blue one looks great in pictures. Dude, I have not seen it in person. My AD has not got one, at least from what I've, you know, and I visit little Zenith area when I'm there. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's really nice though, you know, so I would check it out. Go check it out and see if you like it. Go check out the black one too. I know you got a bunch of black ones, but just check it out. See if it works for you. It's a great watch. Thanks, man. Okay, this comes from Beetle Fang. Awesome video, Tony. I'm wearing my Explorer 40, but I've just set the time and date on the Pro Pilot X Kermit for this weekend's Kermit Day. I keep my watches in a 12 watch box. For the okay, let's go down to the question. For next Friday's question, how do you use the GMT? Do you have both hands set to local time or some other time and not even worry about it? You know what? I generally have it set 2 hours ahead. I don't know why. It was when I was in Nashville. I kept it, you know, I set it for 2 hours of time, 2 hours ahead because that's where they are. And I've just kind of kept it at that. So now I'm used to seeing that GMT hands on my Rolex at that time. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. If it's not set to anything, I don't care, but I'm already used to it that way. So now my OCD kicks in and goes, you have to set it 2 hours ahead, brah. Hope that answers your question, man. David Parrish Productions? No. Haven't heard from you in like 2 minutes. What's up, dude? Great video, Tony. Love the personal touch with your amazing guitars. Thanks, man. Question, you talk about being motivated by viewers and having nearly 5,000 subs. Congrats. What numbers motivate you for a Tony Gamble video? How many views, likes, and new subs make you go, hell yeah? Thanks, brother. you know, when I say that, I just want to move forward and not backwards. There are times where people just decide they want to unsubscribe and not watch your channel anymore. I mean, and it's like, sometimes you feel like for every one subscriber you get, you lose three, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, it kind of, I say bums me out, but it kind of makes me go, well, you know, why the hell am I doing this? You know, I wouldn't say I'm a shitty, unknowledgeable watch guy, and I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. You know, I've got no ulterior motive here, man. You get me talking about watches and answering your guys' questions. You know, some people just freaking can't stand that. You know what I mean? It's like, they like the drama and they like talking about Rolex. If I talk about Rolex and I talk any drama, they're all over it. You know what I mean? All the haters and the trolls come out to play. But, you know, other than that, it's like, really, if it just keeps progressing, whether it's a couple of subscribers a week, 10 subscribers a week, if a video like I did the video on, say, a Cartier or the Nomos Tangente that gets the worst views, it's like, wow, man, all these people that say they love my channel that don't watch it because they didn't want to watch that video. You know, so if I get a video that does like 10,000 or whatever, that's cool. I dig it. It makes me happy. If I get like the Tangente that got under 1,000, I'm like, oh, really? That's what it's all about. But I'm going to continue doing it because I'm trying to bring diversity into this, man. I can't always talk about Rolex. I'm starting to hate Rolex, although I love Rolex. Thanks for your question, Dave. That's it, man. That's it. We're gone. We've made it. Thanks to everyone who likes and subscribes. Thanks for watching my channel. Happy weekend, and I hope it cools off sometime soon. Thank you.